G'day, this is Mr. Thompson, and this is the first of 3 videos in which I'll show you how to build your very first Antweight combat robot. This is a fairly simple robot. It's a wedge, so it doesn't have a weapon, but you can see it goes all right. The lid and the wheels and the motors just snap in and out. There's no screws to worry about or gluing or anything like that. Inside there's enough room for a receiver, a dual brushed motor electronic speed controller, a couple of N20 gear motors, and a LiPo battery. I've got a 2S 300 milliamp hour LiPo battery there. We could even fit more stuff in there. We could put a switch and an LED in there, and we could solder some of those socket connections to save a bit of space and a bit of weight. So with a bit of refinement, you could add a weapon to this and make it a bit more lethal, but it's a pretty good starter robot. Okay, here I am in Fusion, so let's get started. I've got a new design, it hasn't got anything in it yet, so I'm going to start by creating a sketch. So click Sketch. I want to put a sketch on this vertical plane here, and let's start by doing a rectangle. So R for rectangle on the keyboard, click there and over here somewhere, and then L for line. Let's draw a line from here, I don't know, down to here somewhere on that. Oh, I want to go on that. Let's see if I hover on that point there. See if I hover on that point there and then come across here, it'll help me line up with that point. So there somewhere and then back to here like that. That'll do. Escape. Now I've got to dimension this. So D for dimension. That length there, I want that to be 50. I want this length here to be 30, and I want this length here to also be 50. Okay, so that's my side profile. Now I'm going to do E for extrude, E on my keyboard, and I'm going to click on this panel here, and I want to do a symmetric extrude because I want to come out both directions, because I want this sketch, I want that sort of axis plane to be right in the middle of my wedge robot. Always good to do things symmetrically about the origin if you can. So now I want to use this whole length measurement, and that whole length needs to be 60 millimeters. So that'll do nicely like that. Now my sketch has disappeared. So let's come back here and turn my sketch on. And in fact, so I can see it again. Now, you know what? Let's click and click again. I'm just going to call that, what are we going to call that? Wedge body side profile. I don't know, something meaningful. Always good to name your sketches. I'll probably forget to do that later, but there it is. That one's named. Okay, now I'm going to do E for extrude. I'm going to select that particular sketch there. And again, I want that to be symmetric, like that. But this time I want it to be 95 millimeters. Oh, 95 millimeters, the whole length, like that. Okay, so, and it needs to be a joint operation, which it is, good. So there we go. Let's turn the visibility on my sketch off, and there we have the basic body of the sketch. All right, let's shell it out. So click on shell, and then I'm going to click on the body here like that. So it selects the whole body. And then I'm going to say let's see, it's a sharp shell. That's good. I don't want rounded corners. I want 2 millimeter walls. And I want those walls to be inside the shape that I've already drawn. So click OK like that. There we go. Now, I want to go on now if you can't see those dotted lines, you might have to do this. If you go Display Settings, Visual Style, Shaded with Hidden Edges, if you click that, then you'll be able to see the hidden edges and you'll be able to see that it's hollow. If you've just got it like that, of course you can't tell that it's hollow. So Visual Style, Shaded with hidden edges like that. Good. All right, click on the right hand side there. All right, now I'm going to cut a few bits away. I'm going to cut the top off, and I'm going to cut a hole in the side for the wheels to stick out. So let's do that. So if I click on Create Sketch like that, click here. Now let's see. I want to put a center line in. That'll help me because I want my hole here to be centered. So the first thing I'm going to do is L for line. and I'm going to come over here and make it a construction line that I'm going to draw. So if I come into the middle of that line there, it puts a triangle there. That triangle tells me I'm at the center of that line. So click once there, come down to the bottom there, click once there, and we've got our center line there. All right, escape. Now, let's see, I want to do another rectangle. So R for rectangle. And you know what, this time I might choose this center rectangle over here, center rectangle. I'm going to come to the center point of that construction line I just put in there. Click there, and then I'm going to come out like this. And I guess I want it to be 20 millimeters wide. So if I type 20 there and then enter, that's constraint. Now, oops, I've actually left that as a construction line. I don't want that to be just a construction line. So I'm just going to press, I'm going to click on those lines there, that line, hold down Control, that line, and that line. So all of those lines, they shouldn't be construction lines. In fact, you know what? I've stuffed. No, that's okay. I don't want them to be construction lines. So let's get rid of that construction line, and now they're not construction lines. Okay. Okay, but I do want to put one more line across the bottom here because I don't want to cut out the bottom of my wedge. I want to leave the bottom in there. So I'm going to do L for line again. It's still a construction line. Let's turn construction lines off. And I'm going to come over here. I'm going to click there, across to there, like that, and escape. Now, you know what? It's gone. It's blue. So I'm going to dimension it, D for dimension. I'm going to click there, and let's see that bottom line there. That needs to be 2 millimeters. To enter. Okay, I don't know why. Let's try again. Let's give it a width. Let's give it a lip. No, don't need that. I'm just trying to work out why that is blue and it's not fully constrained. I see. It's because it's what we need to do is make sure that line is aligned with that line there. So let's do that with let's press escape a few times, and I'm going to go constraints, and I'm going to use collinear. Collinear means on the same line. So I'm going to say that line is got to be on the same line as that line. There we go. Now it's all black. It's fully constrained. So that's good. All right. Now we're going to do R for rectangle. R for rectangle. Come across to here. There we go. All the way up to the top there. Okay. And escape. Now it's blue. Why is it blue? It's blue because we haven't said exactly where it's got to go. So I'm going to, I wonder if I can do a collinear constraint. Let's try collinear. Okay, I can, between that one and that one. So those two are collinear. Now I can do an extrude. So E for extrude. And I want to cut that, and that, but not that. Okay, so let's do that. So to cut that, I'm just going to rotate this around a little bit. So let me just press on home so I can see what's going on. I want to cut back that way, do a cut. And that's where I want to cut to. But rather than do a distance, I'm going to go, I'll go cut to object. I'm going to cut all the way to that side there, like that. All right. So if I go okay, there we go. So you can see now I've sort of taken the roof off, and I've got some sides there that I can use for my motors to stick out the sides. All right, next step. So now the next thing I need to do, I want to actually bring a motor in. So I'm going to get somebody else's design for the motor. So if I click over here on my data panel, there's nothing in here yet. Okay, you know what? Let's just save this before we do anything else. Save, and I'll call this a Wedge robot, whatever you want to call it. Okay, and that appears there. Now what I want to do is I want to get a model of a motor that somebody else has already drawn, because that's pretty complicated. So if I come down to, if I go to Chrome, and I've used this website called grabcad.com, And I'll copy that link. I went into you might have to create an account. If you create an account, go into library and then do a search for, I did a search for N20 gear motor, and I found this one. But I'll give you the link. So I need to download that. So I've already done this. Click on download, and it downloads a zip file. And if I, where is it? Here's my downloads. And then what I did is I right click and I did extract all to extract the zip file, and it extracted to here. Now it's got a whole bunch of files. I only need that STP file. That's the only thing I need. So let's just close that and go back into Fusion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload, select files, and that's the file I was talking about. So that's in my downloads in my folder, not in the zip file, in the folder that I extracted to. Double click on motor.stp, and you might have to move this up a bit and upload. And it will upload the motor. Now it's a fairly complex model, so it's going to take a little while. So thinking. Let me just explain what I'm going to do while it's doing that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place the motor, I'm going to position the motor in space where I want it, and then I'm going to build a bracket around the motor, which is a pretty handy way if you've got to match your part to another part. Anyway, I'll show you how to do it. So it's already loaded. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just grab that and drag it across and just stick it anywhere in there. And we'll see in a minute. There it goes. There it is. Now, it's before I press enter or anything. Let's just have a look at where it's placed it. It's placed it right in the middle, which is good. Remember how I put the middle of my robot on the axis? So this is going to be pretty handy. So I'm going to grab this arrow here and I'm going to move it forwards. Let me just, you know what? I'm going to grab this one here. This will rotate it. So this one here, and I want to move it 90 degrees. And I'm going to look at the right-hand side. So I'm going to look at the right-hand view like that. Okay, now I'm not going to move it up yet. I'm going to move this across so it's right in the middle there. And that is, I'm just doing it by sight. You know what? You could get more pedantic about that with some other tools, but I'm not. But that's pretty good for me. That's accurate enough for me. And what I want to do is I want to lift this up. Let's see. I'm going to lift it up 18 millimeters to there. Okay, so I make it that that means that was the center point there is up by 18 millimeters. So that'll make from here to here about, I can't remember how high it is, about 9 or I think it might be about 10 millimeters high. About 10 millimeters high. Now, depending on the size of wheels you're going to use, you might want to make that higher or lower. If you're going to use small wheels, you might want to put it down here somewhere. I'm going to use fairly tall wheels, so I'm going to come up to 18 like that. I'm going to 3D print some fairly large wheels, and so that's where I want it. So let's have a look at that from top view as well. Okay, so if I come at my top view, just zoom a little bit so I can see what's going on. I want this front edge here to be aligned with that. So I'm just going to grab this and move it across here. Okay, or actually no, I think I might do it like, let's see, about there. That works for me. So I'm going to put it there. So that turns out to be 13 millimeters. So now if I look at that from all sides, that's in a good position. All right, so I'm just going to go okay, like that. Okay, now that is where I want my gear motor. Now let's build a bracket around it. So I'm going to build a sketch. So if I come around to here, so I can see, because I want to build a sketch on that plane there. So if I click on Create Sketch and click on that wall there, see what I'm doing now is I'm going to build a sketch that's the same shape as the outside of that motor. I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to project some shapes into my sketch. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Let me just move this around a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to do P for project, And what I'm doing is I'm picking some lines on the motor that I want to be in my sketch. So I want that, I'm just going to choose very carefully. That line there, I want that to be in my sketch. That line there, I want that to be in my sketch. And let's see, I think I want, actually, you know what? That'll do. So if I click OK there, like that, and now if I, let's just see what I've done. Okay, so those lines are in my sketch. Now I'm going to come up here and I'm going to hide the motor so I can see what's going on. Okay, now I want to build a bracket. I want to turn those into a bracket. So remember, those lines there are the outside of my motor. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use this offset tool. I'm going to click on that one, and I want an offset of, I'm thinking, let's go 1.6. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go 2 millimeters offset that way. Okay, and I'm going to do an offset here on that one. Let's do another 2 millimeters, like that. Now I'm going to draw a rectangle. Let's see. I want a rectangle, and I want my rectangle to be. I'm going to hover there on that point there, come up to here, up to that point there, click there, start my rectangle there, and then I'm going to come over. If I hover here and come down like that, so there somewhere, like that. So you can see, if I press escape now, all right, let's start to dimension things. So I put a D for dimension. I want that side there. I want that to be, let's see, I'm going to make that 3 millimeters. And I'm going to do some, let's do some constraints. Because if I press escape, see if I grab this, see I can move it around all over the place. And I don't want that to be the case. So what I want is coincident. I want that line there. I want that line, that dot there to be coincident with that line there, like that. And this line here, I want to be coincident with that point there, like that. That looks pretty good. I've already got a point there, so I'm happy with that. All right. Actually, no, what I want is that line there to be coincident with that point. It's not going to let me do that. Okay, I'm going to do escape, escape, escape. I'm going to click on that point there and delete it, if I can. Okay, I can't do that. Okay, I'm going to start that section again. Okay, so I'm going to draw a rectangle. And I'm going to draw my rectangle. I'm going to start my rectangle at this line, at this level here. So if I click, I'm not going to click. I'm just going to hover over that point there. I'm going to come over here to that line. Well, actually, no, I don't even want to do that. I'm going to come over here somewhere. Let's just come to here. Start my rectangle here and come down to here somewhere. Now let's constrain and dimension it. So I'm going to do a coincident constraint. So that's coincident. And I want that line there to be coincident with that point there, like that. That line there to be coincident with that point there. I want that line to be coincident with that point. And if I do D for dimension, I want that line there to be exactly 3 millimeters. Okay, good. That's my little shelf that my motor is going to sit on. And these are, well, I haven't finished yet. Let's finish this. I'm going to do L for line, and I'm going to hover on that point there. And then I'm going to come across here and click here to start my line. And then come all the way across here and click here to finish my line. And escape. Now, it looks like I'm going to have to put some more constraints on. So if I click on coincident again, I'm going to say that line there needs to be coincident with that point there. And that's done it. Can you see now it's gone black. So that's good. So escape. So that purple lines, they're the ones that I projected into my sketch, and every other line there is black. So I'm happy with that. All right. Now, the other thing I want to do is I want to put a stand underneath here. So I'm going to do R for rectangle, click on that corner that I've got there, click on that, or not click, but just hover on that corner and come down to, now I want to come down to there. It's not going to let me select that. So you know what? I'm going to go escape. I'm going to do P for project again. It looks like I need to project that line into my sketch. So click on that line there, go OK. So now with that line in my sketch, if I try my rectangle again, R for rectangle, there, and then come down to here, like that, and escape. And you know what? That line is still not fixed. So I'm going to do this coincident again. I'm going to say that line there is coincident with that point there. Oh, like that. Okay, well, good. Wow. Okay, that was harder than I expected. Let's do E for extrude. So E for extrude, and I want to extrude that, and that. Oh, you know what? Yeah, let's do it all, and that. Okay, maybe I didn't need to do those two rectangles. We'll see. Okay, so let's just see what's going on here. What I want to do, I'm going to turn my motor back on because I want my extrusion to come out to that line there. So I'm going to go, the extrusion type will be to object, and I want to extrude my bracket all the way to the back of the motor, which is, trying to click on that. Let's do this again. Selection priority, select edge priority. It's not going to like that, is it? Have I got filters on? No. Selection priority, edge priority. What happens if I just do that? Is that going to work? To there. Let's see where that's extruding to. Okay, that'll do. No, it won't. Okay, let's see what happens there. No, can't complete extrusion. I really need to be able to select that line. I could do it before. It's not letting me do it. Oh, okay, you know what this will do? I'll select the point. To that, good, okay. So we're going to extrude to that point. Okay, so it's a joint extrusion, that's good, okay. Good, and can you see what's happened now? Now it's created this little, there we go. So now we've created that bracket. Now I did need that other little rectangle there. So I'm going to come up under here and I'm going to turn that sketch back on. Let's see, it was that one there. Turn it back on. I haven't been naming my sketches, have I? I'll have to go back and do that. Now I'm going to extrude from that sketch there, and I want that. That's just so I can see what's going on. I want that to come out to, well, I'm going to go again to object. To object, I want it to come out to that front face there, like that. Good. Okay. Again, it's a join. That's what I want. Okay. So now I've got, there we go. I've got a nice little bracket there for my motor. All right. Now, what I want to do now, let's click on front view, which is actually the back view, but it thinks it's the front view. Maybe I should have drawn it the other way. Never mind. I want to put some little ridges in here so that my motor snaps into place and is held into place. So I'm going to create a sketch on that surface there. Oh, come back. Hang on. On that surface there. And I'm going to create, I'm going to do R for rectangle. And I'm going to go, let's see, from, actually, you know what? Escape. I'm going to have to do P and project because I want that line there and that line there. And which other one am I going to use? I actually want this line back here. Can I find it? That line there. Okay, I want those two, I want those lines there in my sketch. So there they are. So those purple ones are in my sketch. So now I'm going to do R for rectangle. Now that those lines are in my sketch, I can snap to them. So if I click here, come out by 1.5 millimeters and tab, I think 0.5 is about what I want. So I'm just making a little ridge there that's 1.5 millimeters long and 0.5 millimeter high. I'm going to do this exactly the same thing over here. Rectangle from there to there. 1.5, enter. Oh, didn't put the height in. Okay, D for dimension. Let's dimension that height there. Make that height, what we make it, 0.5 again, like the other one. Okay, so we now got those two little ridges. So now E for extrude, that one and that one. And we're going to extrude that. Let me just zoom out a little bit, all the way around to the other side. I want to go to there. So I'm going to go to an object, to that object there like that. Okay. All right. So now if I hide my motor, you can see there's those little ridges there. In fact, I can hide that sketch now as well. There's those two little ridges there. And those little ridges, when I slide my motor into this bracket, it means it'll snap and hold in place. So I won't need to use screws or brackets or any other sort of moving parts, if you like, to hold my motors in. All right. Let's see, what do we got next? You know what? We're nearly there for this video. So all I'm going to do now, actually, is I'm going to do some fillets. So if I click on my fillet here, I'm going to fillet that edge, that edge, that edge, and that edge. And I'm going to make them, I don't know, let's think, I think probably, just so they're not square, let's make them about 0.3. That's pretty good. 0.3. So I've got a little 0.3 millimeter. So I've got a straight edge there that's sort of going to hold it in place, and this means that the motor can actually sort of slide over the top of the ridge. Okay, now we want to do exactly that same thing on the other side. Fortunately, there's an easy way of doing that. I can create a mirror. Where is it? A mirror. And let's see. I want a mirror component. No, I want to mirror features. So I want to mirror all of these features here. So if I click on that, or I'll probably want to mirror that as well. So I think that's going to be enough if I click on those features there. If I try to click on too much, it goes, and actually that's not bad if I click there as well. If you try to click on too much, sometimes it selects the whole body, and I don't want to do that. Okay, so they're the object, they're the features that I want to mirror. And the mirror plane, if I select mirror plane, I want to mirror on that there, which I can't select because it's behind there. So if I just move that around a little bit so I can see it, that's my mirror plane. And you can see what it's going to do over here. Now I need, if I do adjust, it's going to do weird stuff. It's going to try and, you can try that if you want. I'm going to use optimized. And if I click on optimized like that, then that has created a nice mirror. And you know what? One more thing I'm going to do, I'm going to mirror the motors as well. So let's make the motor visible again. And I'm going to do another mirror. So create, where are we? Mirror down there. And this time I'm going to mirror a whole component. And I'm going to not going to try and click on this because this is made of a whole lot of subcomponents. If I click on motor here, like that, and then I again select my mirror plane. That's my mirror plane there. And then, okay, there we go. So now our body is done. And I think that's more than enough for this video. I think in the next video, we'll build the lid next. And then after that, we'll build the wheels. All right, that'll do.